This was a game that the first half was UGLY, you ain't got no alibi, and the second half was wild, back and forth. Green Bay looked like they had it won, then it looked like they had it lost, but ultimately they win. And if you look at this, 24-21, Aaron Rodgers, now 10-0 in his last 10 primetime games, 9-1 against the spread. And when they don't have Devontae Adams under Matt LaFleur, Rodgers, 7-0, 19 touchdowns, 1 pick. Way to get it done. And right now, because of this win, and now having the head-to-head advantage, Green Bay would be ahead of Arizona in a final standings. Both teams now 7-1. Oh, yeah, let's get everybody in. Jonathan Jones, CBS Sports senior NFL writer, and our two-time Super Bowl champion, Bryant McFadden. All right, you were a corner in this league. You were an elite corner in this league. What did I just see on that final play when Douglas steps in front, catches it somehow? What did A.J. Green do? From your perspective and your experience, what did I just see?
Clearly a communication error between A.J. Green and the rest of the offense. If you look at the other pass catchers in the offense, EK, JJ, they're running routes. A.J. Green was not running a route. It looked like he was blocking. That's why he was so surprised to see the ball come in his direction, because look at him right there. He's looking at the Jumbotron like it's a running play. And just the instincts of Douglas being able to locate the football was huge, but clearly a communication error between A.J. Green, because every other pass catcher, they were running pass routes. Kyler Murray was having a passing drop set, looking through his progressions. A.J. Green was run blocking.
And B-Mac, that's sort of the interesting part here. He is run blocking, but there's 12 seconds left in the game, and the Arizona Cardinals don't have any timeouts.
No timeout.
This is obviously a pass. And so he very clearly is run blocking. Everyone else is going out for a route because that's what you're supposed to.
We're not running it.
But there's no way that you were run blocking here with 12 seconds left. You're down 3 and no timeouts. This is a huge error by A.J. Green. I went back and watched the replay. Maybe it was an RPO. No, it wasn't an RPO. There was no run element whatsoever to this play. This is a huge mental error by one of the greats, A.J. Green.
All right. Go ahead, B-Mac, please.
And to go back to what JJ was saying, yes, they had no timeouts. A.J. Green just was not aware of the situation. He wasn't aware of the timeouts or the lack thereof. And clearly, whatever he came out of the huddle thinking was all the way wrong, big time point, because they could not afford to run the football, get tackled less than getting into the end zone, and then getting the field goal unit out. Not enough time to do so.
All right. So that play obviously decides the game. And it looks like it's a mental error by A.J. Green, who somehow, even if you don't think it's coming to you, you got to, fake it, because not a run in that spot. With 12 seconds to go, no timeouts, a field goal ties it, touchdown wins it. So they're going to throw the ball either into the end zone, throw it away, and if they don't get it, they're going to kick the field goal and tie. But ultimately, maybe it's that, maybe it's a bigger thing. What's the headline from this game? Bryant McFadden.
The Green Bay Packers are for real. They are for real. Remember weeks ago, especially the first ball game against New Orleans, people were like, well, I don't know. And then Aaron Rodgers woke up, and then we saw some issues with the defense. The defense now has been playing big-time football. They have really improved. A short week being not having a full team, the defense put the offense on their back, and then Aaron Rodgers strategically getting the job done. He didn't blow you away in the stat sheet, but the way they were able to be so efficient, utilize the clock, and Matt LaFleur, for about 75% of the ball game, he was unbelievable. And then a few plays in the red zone were a bit questionable. But all in all, EK, my headline, the Packers, without Devontae Adams, in a very hostile environment, got the job done. Eventually, they will get all their soldiers back in uniform. They're for real.
This might be a special season for the Green Bay Packers. And Aaron Rodgers talked about that a couple of days ago, where he said, it's starting to feel a little bit like a season where we had a lot of injuries, and the GM at the time, Ted Thompson, went out and got a number of guys to fill in, and it worked for us. And then what happened in that year? Well, you guys know, we won the Super Bowl. He was talking about that magical 2010 year. Well, he said that it's starting to feel like that again now. Of course, some of that's patting himself on the back, Aaron Rodgers, because he was the one who engineered that trade for Randall Cobb, whom he targeted plenty so far this season and certainly tonight. But we saw it again with all of those injuries or COVID guys on the list, that they were able to get it done on the road in Arizona against the last team that was undefeated in the NFL. This is special. And I'll tell you this, Aaron Rodgers going into this season, he didn't want to be in Green Bay anymore, but he came back, and now things are starting to happen where I said before the season, the only chance that Aaron Rodgers is in a Green Bay Packers uniform in 2022 is if the Packers win the Super Bowl. Not just get to the Super Bowl, but win the Super Bowl. I think you got to like their chances a whole lot more tonight after this win.
All right, JJ, let me pivot back to you when it comes to Arizona. Kyler Murray, no touchdowns, 2 interceptions. One at the end doesn't look like it's his fault, but the way he played tonight, he clearly could have had 2 overall that were his fault. Less than 300 total yards. Did we learn how to play Arizona? Did Green Bay, who was undermanned in the secondary, what did they do to basically put up a really great effort where in the first half they held them down 7 points and then ultimately played enough defense, even though it was getting a little loosey-goosey at the end, to win the game?
Yeah, they sat back a little bit. They didn't blitz nearly as often as certainly they would have last year, the Green Bay Packers. They've blitzed a little bit less coming into this game this season than they had last year. But also, we had a new defensive coordinator tonight. Joe Barry was on the COVID list. He was not able to be the DC for the Packers. And so those opportunities were turned over to Jerry Gray, longtime NFL assistant coach. He decided not to blitz Kyler Murray all that often, really, until there at the end of the game. And that paid dividends, I believe, for the Green Bay Packers. The back end held up. The safeties played over the top. They put a lid on things outside of that one very long 55 or so yard touchdown or reception to DeAndre Hopkins, where Eric Stokes got a little turned around there at the beginning of the game. They did well. They bottled up the run game, and they forced Kyler Murray to throw short. And so when you have that formula, you can beat the Arizona Cardinals. Just normally your offense can't defeat their defense. And what we saw today was, or tonight, several mistakes by Arizona. We saw the muffed punt. We saw the interception. And the Green Bay Packers were able to capitalize on that, had 10 points off of those early turnovers. Of course, Green Bay decided not to kick the field goal there. They decided to go for it, put the game away with 2 minutes left. That didn't work out for them, but ultimately, of course, the A.J. Green, terrible miscommunication. And here you are, the Packers at 7-1.
And you were up favor, and so was I,
Big
on
time.
4th and 1, up 3 of going for it and trying to win the game right there.
From 1 yard in the game.
And you saw, because you needed a lucky play, they were going to score on you. So I think we were vindicated, even though it didn't work out. You know, it's like blackjack. You know, you hit at the right time. If you don't get the right card, you still did it the right way.
That's right.
B-Mac, do you feel differently about Arizona after this game? I mean, look, I don't know how much you loved them or liked them or whatever you thought they could be. Maybe you say, no, they are who we thought they were, which was with Arizona, that famous quote. What do you think about Arizona? Do you feel differently?
I feel differently about the Arizona Cardinals, and here's why. They have some issues on the defensive side, primarily speaking the front. They came into tonight's ball game not being consistent enough against opposing offenses' rushing attack. That showed up big time. Remember, a week ago, Green Bay could not rush the ball consistently against Washington. Tonight, they were the more physical team. They played bully ball. A.J. Dillon was always falling forward. I'm surprised they didn't have A.J. Dillon in that last goal line drive also when they ended up losing it out on downs. Aaron Jones was spectacular. They can't stop the run. They're not physical enough to stop opposing offenses' ground and pound attack. And the biggest issue for me and why I feel differently, the biggest reason why I feel differently with the Cardinals, I don't think Kyler Murray is as healthy as he was earlier in the season. We're not seeing the same elusive, electrifying play at the quarterback position. He's not running around anymore. He's running when he has to run. But remember, the thing about Kyler Murray, he used to always provide that element to his game. And that's why they were so good, especially during this winning streak. But right now, he's not running the football, guys. He got hit a lot. He was getting up off the turf very, very slowly. I don't know how healthy he is, and I don't think he is as healthy as he's been based on what I saw tonight. And if he's not healthy, if he's not provided that running element to their offense, they're not as good as they've been so far this season.
No doubt about it that Kyler Murray, the numbers, you can tell me why, I'll accept lots of explanations, but the numbers for Murray have not been as good in the last 6-7 weeks of the year than they have been in the first half of the year in any season in his career.
Yep.
So I wonder, whatever reason that is, and you hope that's not the case, you want to see the young man stay healthy. I've always said, and my family says, lucky and good is a hard combination to beat. And Arizona has been lucky and good each week coming in. Tonight, they weren't great, they were good. And at the end, they weren't lucky on that last play. Is it simply come down to they were unlucky on the last play, otherwise they win, and this was a coin flip game either way?
We talked about this maybe a week or two ago. I took some heat about this on Twitter from some Arizona Cardinals fans. When you are undefeated and when you're the last undefeated team in the NFL, there is luck that is involved with that. You can be a good team, you can even be a great team, but there is luck that is involved with that. And a lot of that luck has to do with injuries. And what you had tonight was no DeAndre Hopkins there in the second half. What you had tonight was no J.J. Watt coming into the game and no J.J. Watt for the rest of the season. They really hadn't been bitten by the injury bug to a huge degree outside of Max Williams at tight end. And then, of course, they traded for Zach Ertz. And so 1 in, 1 out, they're okay there. They're starting to feel some of that misfortune that almost every NFL team experiences. They just got theirs a little bit later here at the tail end of the second month of the season. This is still a very good team. This is a team that I believe it can win the NFC West, can win their first round game, can be in the NFC title game. There's nothing that I've seen so far this year or tonight that says, nope, I don't believe in them. They can't play late into January. But some of that luck, the muffed punt with Rondell Moore just touching his finger and then him being a rookie, not understanding that there are 40 cameras on you. And we saw that, so don't pull the whole Shaggy, it wasn't me, it was you. Those are the things that this team is going to have to be able to figure out. You don't expect A.J. Green, a veteran, to make the mistake that he did in the end zone. But all of those things, it's not good enough to be good. You do have to be lucky, and some of that luck wore off tonight.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. And I think also when you talk about the luck, you got to find a way to make adjustments. Matt LaFleur made adjustments. Knowing that he didn't have one of the best pass catchers in the game, he made adjustments. Now, the difference between Arizona and Green Bay, they thought DeAndre Hopkins would participate the entire ball game. He did not. But also, too, remember, DeAndre Hopkins didn't practice at all this week. So whoever was taking those reps, they should have been able to make some adjustments, knowing number 10 would not be in the lineup or he would not be as healthy as they thought he would be. That was the difference, in my opinion, when you look at the coaching. The game plan that was called for Green Bay and Aaron Rodgers, it was marvelous. We saw some issues from Cliff Kingsbury and his staff. So now it's about making adjustments. You won't have J.J. Watt. You don't know the status of DeAndre Hopkins. Can you still be effective? Green Bay has just showed all of us, we can win ball games against a playoff caliber team on the road without one of our superstars. A lot of NFL teams can't do that, and that's why I said Green Bay, to me, they showed me that they are legit, because number 17 will be back in that lineup, and if they can keep this train rolling like how they've been rolling, running the football, whoo, look out, look out. The Packers will make this thing interesting throughout the year.
Hey, they have been to the Final Four each of the last 2 years, and they got a huge boost from Rasul Douglas. Hadn't had an interception since 2018. Got a huge one tonight with 12 seconds left to pull victory from the jaws of either tie or defeat. So, well done, gentlemen. This was a fun game. You see here.
The greatest!
Yeah, at least in the regular season. There you go. I mean, look, Don Shula and Chuck Knox, they're all right. I mean, those are guys that you're ahead of right now. Through 40 games, Matt LaFleur in the regular season has got it done, and he's ridden that regular season to the conference finals each of the last 2 years. Lost at San Francisco 2 years ago, lost at home to Tampa last year, hoping to get back there and then do some more damage this year.